I'm doing entertainment, pop culture, Depp vs. Heard, and yes, I said Depp vs. Heard. Here's the thing. I think a lot of people thought when Virginia ended, the case would just kind of fizzle out and that'll be it forever. But the fact is, it's historical. It's more like O.J. Simpson, Michael Jackson, things like that. Obviously, cases that play out will never be on the top of the pyramid of the news forever, but they'll always be there in some way, especially when the people are still of the age of continuing the career and things like that. So what we have on Twitter here is Depp trending and Amber Heard trending. So I want to take a look at the Amber tweets right now. I want to see what people are saying at this date. Now I'm sure there will be some recaps, but I think at least until Aquaman 2 comes out, we see how that goes, how it plays out. It's important to remind people of the things, of the facts, I should say, that got out there about Amber. This person here says, reminder, the house Amber Heard rented for a year, during which she had divorce settlement and hadn't been sued, reportedly cost $6,700 a month. But she couldn't afford to honor her donations to CHLA's sick children. This is who you defend. And this thing's got 4,600 views. I'll give it a heart. And this person, not Lindsay Lohan, says, who is Johnny Depp? To the blind, he is the darkness. To the hungry, he is starvation. To the sick, he is the infection. To the lonely, he is the solemn reminder. To the sad, he is pain. To the prisoner, he is the prison guard. For the poor, he is taxes. For me, he is nothing. Okay, so that tweet was very silly and said a bunch of nothing. And the response here is, who is Amber Heard? To the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, she's a fraud. To the jury, she's a liar. To the world, she's a vindictive abuser. Who is Johnny Depp? He's a survivor. So yeah, okay, this person has some truth here, but the tweet by not Lindsay Lohan is just a bunch of metaphorical hogwash, I would say. This person, Sam, says women like Amber Heard should go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Pointing out a Daily Mail article who says women like Amber Heard should never be silenced by the legal system. Jennifer Robinson uses silenced and held accountable synonymously. She left details out. All the altered photos, lies, donations not made, and hard proof Amber Heard abused Depp. Okay, so they're talking about this book Jennifer Robinson released, and of course, it's all one-sided. Well, I haven't read it, but I'm going to assume most of it, based on the reports here, is one-sided, not taking into account the bad things Amber did. Even if you believe Johnny did bad things, if you just believe it, you should not omit facts about Amber and the bad things she did. And we've got that umbrella guy here from January 24th, which I covered actually, this tweet where he points out that Amber fans are doxing each other. And this person's account is following the days since the trial that Amber's been allowed to stay in Aquaman 2, 241 days on January 28th. Since the verdict, Amber Heard has still not been fired by Warner Bros. From Aquaman 2, and it looks like she probably won't. A lot of people pointing out that Amber Heard hasn't been silenced. The thing is, what they count as being silenced is that when you say something, a lot of people will voice their opinion against you. That's not being silenced, that's being called out for saying things that aren't exactly truthful. So they'd say something like, since there's a sea of Depp bots and trolls, Amber's been silenced. Well, no. She can say legally whatever she wants, as long as it's not defamation, of course, but nobody can say anything that's defaming, so she's good. She's fine. She's choosing silence. She wants people to forget as much as possible, so when Aquaman 2 comes out, which is her last big thing maybe ever, they'll go see the movie. And that's one reason I'm going to say, let's not forget. This is what I did with the Star Wars franchise. I encourage people who agree with what I think about what happened in the franchise not to support the movies. So, waiting on Aquaman 2 to see the box office results, which aren't coming for a very long time. Ms. Tolerance says, you know how all Depp supporters say things like they can tell Amber is not a victim or they are a real victim so they know Amber isn't one. Well, when has Johnny Depp acted like a victim? Never. Throughout this, he's acted like an entitled narcissist who thinks it's a joke. I'm not sure exactly what this means because we're pointing out Amber's facial expressions, her tone of voice, things like that. Johnny's pretty monotone. He usually doesn't go from like really sad, really happy, really calm, really excited. He's a pretty monotone guy in general, so it's not like he didn't act like a victim because he was. He went to court, said his piece, what I believe to be honestly, and that was it. But Amber obviously went overboard. That's why people called it out. And of course, to this day, people still showcasing Incredibly Average's clips about Amber and Johnny and the way he actually subtitled it and things like that. As you can see, this goes down and down and down. More Umbrella Guy stuff. Like I said, we are almost at February 2023 and it's still being talked about. So that leads me to believe that until Aquaman 2, there's still going to be probably trending news every now and then and articles written about Depth vs. Heard. Let me know what you think down below. Doing shout outs, special thanks, things like that. If you don't subscribe here, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.